So Australia is on fire. They're facing right now record high temperatures that are causing major fires and death and destruction. Let me first play for you this piece from Reuters that essentially goes over exactly what's happening in Australia.
Orange skies that turn a bleeding red. It's a nightmarish scene across Australia as bushfires continue to burn on New Year's Eve. The blazes have destroyed more than 4 million hectares. Authorities fear that 3 people have been killed in New South Wales and another 4 were reported missing in Victoria. Fighting these fires has cost the lives of 9 firefighters so far. 3 were volunteers. And the youngest, who died on Monday, was just 28, described by New South Wales Fire Chief Shane Fitzsimmons as an extraordinary loss.
He leaves behind, tragically, a beautiful wife, Megan, who is pregnant with their first child that's due on the 4th of May. As you would expect, the family is grieving, and it's been a very difficult night, and I would be fair to say I don't even think the comprehension has set in yet.
The ferocity has never been seen on this scale before. A fire tornado overturned a firefighter's truck. Lightning strikes have also sparked blazes in the eastern states, which have been enduring a long drought with tinder dry conditions.
They described it as an extraordinary wind event, describing it as a fire tornado or a collapse. They even believe might have been a collapse of a pyroconvective column that had formed above the main fire front. That's resulted in cyclonic type winds that has moved across the fire ground and has literally lifted up a 10 or 12 tonne fire truck and flipped it onto its roof.
Survival has forced holiday goers to hide in the water or seek refuge in boats. And in Sydney, ahead of the New Year's Eve Harbour Bridge fireworks, smoke has cloaked the city. But authorities say despite public calls for them to be cancelled in solidarity with fire-hit areas, they'll go ahead as planned.
All right, so that kind of gives you an overview of what is happening. And look, I look at this video and I think, what is Australia going to look like in 10 years, in 20 years? Climate change has done a number on the world. And the people that are going to be most affected are the people that are already being affected right now. But it's going to hit all of us. I mean, if you think right now that you're safe, you're not. It's going to impact everybody, which is why it is so important to actually have a fundamental change in our system to deal with this immediately. UN climate scientists have given us 12 years to turn this entire thing around. 12 years, which means you need a completely different approach to energy than we have right now. A completely different approach to how we essentially live our day-to-day lives. Now, that said, look, the transition is not going to be easy. I mean, for some, it'll be easier than others, but there are candidates out there that actually have American candidates in this Democratic primary that have an approach that not just looks at this from an American perspective, but understands it will take a global movement to change things. Bernie Sanders, his Green New Deal is the most comprehensive deal in the race. I think it's $16 trillion. And that's because he actually takes care of the workers that are impacted from the move away from fossil fuels and into renewable energies. So if you say work on an oil rig, you're just your average blue collar worker. You are taken care of with full pay for 5 years, and you are given retraining, likely into another renewable energy field. So you can actually, you still work with your hands. You're still largely going to be doing similar kind of work, though obviously, cleaner. But there will be that transition period where we have to take care of the people that will be directly impacted by this move away from fossil fuels. But it has to happen. Otherwise, we have no planet. So let me just show you some more of these images here. I mean, this is crazy. So this tweet from Chowderhead says, if you haven't seen how bad it is down in Australia, let me explain. All these pictures were taken in the middle of the afternoon. The temperature was about 45 degrees Celsius. Winds caused by the fires have been blasting over emergency vehicles 30% of all koalas are dead. It's horrifying. So in case you're just listening to this and you can't see the images, essentially every single image here, the sky and everything around them is red or orange. So there's a girl here in a boat. The entire sky is orange. She has her face covered by a mask, and you can tell that air is barely breathable. Man, moving on here. This looks like used to be a road. Everything is red. I mean, this could be an image from Mars if Mars had trees. Like, it's just completely insane. Here you see emergency crews driving near the fires. Again, the entire sky is red. And some leftover destruction. These places look like a ghost town. It's like Silent Hill over here. Just completely destroyed by these fires. So there needs to be a complete shift in how we deal with this issue. And let me share this tweet here. This is from Man in the Hoodie. The Amazon was on fire for all of 2019. Australia starts 2020 on fire. Notre Dame burned for 15 hours and people donated $1 billion in one day. Now, this tweet is on point, but understand here, we don't need random average people to donate the money to save the planet. This is what actually needs to be done, and nothing is more, or I can't make this point more clear than by sharing this tweet from Anand Giridharadas, who tweets 2 Bloomberg stories. The one on the left here, $300 billion. That's the amount of money needed to stop the rise in greenhouse gases and buy up to 20 years of time to fix global warming, according to UN climate scientists. So $300 billion. That's all that's needed to delay this for 20 years to buy time to really turn this around. Another Bloomberg story. The world's 500 wealthiest people gained $1.2 trillion this year, speaking of 2019, boosting their collective net worth 25% to $5.9 trillion. The wealthy are the ones that need to pay for this. People that have all this wealth that don't need it. People that have, 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 yachts. These people exist. While there are people, not even to mention, homelessness and people that can't afford healthcare, but also as the planet is burning, these people are amassing all this wealth that they absolutely don't need and cannot even, there's no way you could even spend this money. So there is a clear approach to this issue, and it starts with taking this wealth that the wealthiest people in the world have accumulated, taking that wealth and using it to save the planet.